Hello, everyone, and this is your 8th grammar clinic session. So my name is Kieran. I am your English support tutor on the Manchester campus of Elizabeth School of London. So thanks for joining today. And hopefully we're going to learn a lot of useful things today. So the thing we're looking at today is parts of speech. So those are the types of words that we use in our sentences. So the thing we're going to focus on today is nouns, pronouns, verbs, and adjectives. Okay, so those are going to be our 4 main components of our session today. So we're going to have a look at how they combine in order to make sentences, and then have a look at how these could be useful for you when it comes to writing your assignments here. All right, so let's have a look at our next slide and let's begin. All right, so we're going to begin by looking at nouns. So nouns are they are things when we're talking about people, places, or items, or things like that. So we're going to have a look at nouns, the type of nouns that we have, and then dig a little bit deeper into them. Okay, so like I just mentioned, nouns are words that name people, places, or things. So you can see on the right, there is an example sentence here of Sarah, a teacher from London, visited the park with her students and bought a book about the Statue of Liberty. So in that sentence, you'll notice that there are different nouns. So first of all, we have Sarah, which is a proper noun. We have a noun to describe a person, teacher. We have 2 other proper nouns, which are the names of things, so the specific names of things like London and the Statue of Liberty. And then we have 3 more common nouns, which is park, students, and book. So let's first of all have a look at those nouns that are used to describe people. Okay, so people people nouns are nouns that we can use to refer to individuals. So these can either be singular or they can be plural. So you can see in the box, we've got the example of girl. That would be for singular, and for plural, that would be girls. Okay. You also have those kind of irregular ones like child, children. Okay. But any kind of words that can be used to refer to a person, that's where we would add them here. Okay. But nouns don't just have to refer to people, they can also refer to places as well. So you can see the example in the box of park, school, beach, and city. I'm sure you can think of a lot more as well. So there are lots of nouns we can use to describe places. Okay. But like we mentioned before, nouns can also be used to refer to things. So objects or items or concept or ideas. So just like the other ones we've looked at so far, these can be both singular and they can be plural. They can be used to describe one or many different things. So here, ball, book, chair, toy. If I look here, I can see computer, desk, mouse, drawers, etc. Okay. All right. So those are the nouns we use to describe things. Okay, but maybe we need to understand of how we can actually identify the nouns in a sentence. Well, this is actually a very simple task, okay? Because nouns are the things which describe the who or the what in a sentence. So in the example sentence, we can see the cat is sleeping. So if we're asking who or what, then the answer is, of course, the cat. The cat is the noun in this sentence. Okay, so we've mentioned a couple of times then, nouns can be either singular or plural. Okay, so for the ones that we've looked at before, they all have single and plural forms. So dog can also be dogs, car can also be cars, and hat can also be hats. Okay, so this is an important thing that we need to think about when we're looking at nouns. So if they are regular, they would end in S, but not all of them are regular. So like we mentioned before about mouse, computer mouse, mouse in its plural form is mice. Okay, so they don't always end in S.
Kenny, thanks. I've got 3 questions. No pressure if you can't answer any of them, but I'll give it a go.
Okay. Now, another interesting part here is there is a subset of nouns which are called proper nouns. And proper nouns are when the noun describes the specific name of something. Okay, so if it is a park, that's a normal noun. But if it is talking about a specific name of a park, like St. James's Park, then it would be a proper noun instead. Okay, so the idea is if it is a proper noun, if it is the specific name of something, then we give it a capital letter at the start of the word. Okay, so if you look at the examples here, you have Sarah. So Sarah is the specific name of a person, so we get a capital letter at the start. The same with London is the name of a specific city, so we give it a capital letter. The Statue of Liberty, that is the name of a specific statue, so it gets a capital. The Renaissance is the name of a specific period in history, so that gets a capital letter. And lastly, Mount Kilimanjaro is the name of a specific mountain, so it gets a capital letter there because it is a proper noun. So if we need to look at the difference then, a common noun is the general name for something, whereas a proper noun is the specific name of something. So if it is a common noun, it just has a normal lowercase letter, whereas a proper noun, a specific name, has a capital letter at the start of the word. Okay, so that is nouns out of the way. We're now going to have a look at pronouns. Now, pronouns are very similar to nouns, okay? It may help to think of them actually as a part of nouns, okay? So pronouns are a pronoun is used in the place of a noun. Okay, if we don't know the specific name or if we don't want to say the specific name, we can use a pronoun instead. So instead of saying Sarah, we could say she. Instead of saying John, we could say he. Instead of saying the name of a dog, you know, like Buster, then we could say it instead. So you can see here on the screen all of the pronouns that we are looking at here. Okay, so if we go on to the next slide, we see another sentence here with the example of a pronoun highlighted. Are you having fun? So I don't know your specific name, but I can just say you in the place of a normal noun. Okay, so they are what pronouns are. Okay, all right, that is a list there on the screen if you feel that it is useful for you. Okay, so very simply, that's what pronouns are. All right. So on to the next part of speech, which is verbs. So verbs tell us what action someone or something is doing. Okay, and a verb can also talk about a state. So not always about an action, but about a feeling or a state like that. Okay. So verbs as actions can be run, jump, think, study, sleep, eat, work, things like that. Whereas state of being, you can see here, I am or I was, we were, things like that. Okay. So in this next sentence here, he skipped to class. So skipped is an action. Okay. So that would mean that it is a verb. Okay. So there are 3 different types of verbs. Okay, we've got our action verbs, as we've mentioned. We also have linking verbs, and then we also have helping verbs as well. So let's look at those in turn. So the action verbs, what we've just looked at, okay, they are the actions that we can see, hear, feel, or experience. So if we look at the examples, she runs every morning. This is something we can see. They laughed loudly at the joke. That is something we can hear or something we can see as well. It is an action. Okay, so action verbs are the usual verbs that we use in sentences. Now, linking verbs, okay, linking verbs connect the subject of a sentence with the subject complement. So if that's difficult for you, don't worry about it. But if we have a look at the example, he seems happy. Okay. Now, he isn't the one seeming. He seems to us happy. Okay. So he isn't doing the action, but we still feel that action or that state. Okay. So also, the cake smells delicious. It is not the cake which is doing the smelling, but we are the ones receiving the smell of it being delicious. Okay, so that would make it a linking verb. So verbs can also help other verbs in a sentence. So it is quite often that we get two verbs in a sentence, and very often one of them is just a little helper for the other one. Okay, and they help to explain the tense of the sentence or the mood or the voice. So sometimes if you are using a helping verb, it will tell you that it is continuous, or it can tell you that it is a perfect form of the verb. So we've got here, she is singing beautifully. So the main verb here is singing, but we also have the helping verb is. So the helping verb is tells us that it is continuous. They have been waiting for hours. The main verb here is waiting. We have two helping verbs, have and been, and they tell us that this sentence is present perfect continuous. Okay. But also remember that some verbs are regular and some are irregular. So if they are regular, that means that they take ed, ied, or d as the past form of the verb. They are irregular if they follow a different pattern. So if it is ed, then it is regular. If it is not, then it is irregular. Okay. Also, tenses can be in the past. Oh, sorry, verbs can be in the past form, in the present form, or in the future form as well. So we've got the example here of she played tennis yesterday. So that's an example of a regular past tense verb. Then we got it in the present. He teaches English. And then we also have it in the future form. They will arrive tomorrow. So they can exist in any of those three times. Okay, now one thing you need to remember is your verb needs to agree with your subject. Okay, so in a normal sentence, if we're using I, it would be I sing beautifully. But if we change the subject to she, it isn't she sing beautifully, it needs to be she sings beautifully. So he, she, and it, if they are your subject, then you need to add an S to the end of your verb. Okay. Okay, now sometimes verbs exist as phrases. Okay. All right, so in this situation, it is not just one word, but it could be a combination of words, and it is a phrase, but it exists as a verb. Okay, so in the example, they are going to visit their grandparent. Going to visit is a full phrase, not just one word. And going to tells you that this is a future plan. Okay, so they are the verbs, and now they are out of the way. So that leads us on to the adjectives. So an adjective is what describes a noun or a pronoun. So it tells us what kind it is, how many it is, or which one it is. Okay, so these are best best thought of as describing words. Okay, so young, old, fat, thin, fast, slow, anything like that, it is an adjective, or one of the most popular types of adjectives. Okay, so if we're thinking about what kind of maybe a person, you would say a happy person, or a brave person, an excited person. Okay. Adjectives can also be about how many. Okay, three is an adjective. More people. adjective. Less people, or sorry, less money would be an adjective as well. Okay. And then we also can have them when they describe which one. So this, that, these, those, they exist as adjectives. So in this sentence, Sam is a good boy. We are saying that Sam is good. He is a good boy. Okay. So good describes Sam. It is an adjective. Okay. So there are 6 different adjectives or 6 different types of adjectives that we're going to have a look at. Descriptive, demonstrative, quantitative, possessive, interrogative, and indefinite. Okay. Now it doesn't matter what they actually mean. It's how we can use them that's more interesting. Okay, so first of all, let's look at descriptive adjectives. What we've just mentioned, they describe the noun that we're talking about. So tall, beautiful, or delicious. Very good. Now we've got the demonstrative adjectives. So these talk about the noun in the idea of space or time. So this pen, that pen, these pens, or those pens. They talk about if something is close to us or if something is far away from us. Okay. Third of all, we've got something called quantitative adjectives, and they tell us how much or how many of something we have. So you can see the example here of many. So many cars, okay, or few people, or several lessons. Okay. So those adjectives describe how much or how many of something. Now, the fourth one that we've got here are possessive adjectives. So this tells us who owns or who possesses the object. Okay. So, for example, this is my pen. My tells you that it belongs to me. And it also works with other people, your, his, hers, it, ours, or their. Okay. So if you're describing what item belongs to which person, this is where you would use possessive adjective. Okay, on to the next one. We've got interrogative adjectives. So basically, this just means question adjectives. So these are the words that we use to start questions. So which, what, whose. Okay, so you would be saying like, whose pen is this? That would tell you who the pen belongs to. Okay, what time is it? Or which classroom am I in? Okay, they're all adjectives which describe the question. Okay, and next we have indefinite adjectives. Okay, so these describe something, but in a non-specific way. So not telling us how much or who or what specifically it is. So here you've got things like some, any, all, each, and every. I met some people today. Okay. Do you have any money? All right. So they're not talking about anyone or anything in particular. It is just something a bit more unspecific, or in the situation, indefinite, not definite who or what it is. Okay. All right. So that was a very quick look at those 4 different types. So if you remember them, they were nouns, which describe things, people, which refer to things or people or places. We had pronouns, those words like he, her, we, etc. Then we had a look at verbs, which are our actions, so the things that we do. And then last of all, we had adjectives, which describe the idea of the noun or the pronoun. Okay, so I think after that, we need to have a little bit of practice. So what you can see here on the screen is a little practice exercise. So in this exercise, you have some sentences and there is a word which is underlined. So what you'll need to do is think which part of speech is being referred to in those sentences. So is it a noun, a pronoun, an adjective, or a verb? So I'm going to leave this on the screen for you now. So maybe pause your video, write down your answers, and then when we come back, we will check the answers that you have. Okay? Okie dokie. So I am sure that you got all of the right answers there, but there is only one way to find out. So if we go on to the next slide, okay, so we'll see that the first one was an adverb. Okay, brightly. Okay, so what we'll do is next week, we're going to have a look more closely at adverbs. Okay, in number 2, what we have here is a preposition. So we will look at this next week as well. So a preposition is a word which tells us where something is located or the time of something. But number 3, what we've looked at today, a pretty dog. Pretty is an adjective. Okay. Number 4, she. So she is a proper noun. Sorry, a pronoun. Sorry, forgive me, pronoun. Okay. Number 5, the volleyball team won their match. So that is a verb. It describes the action. Okay. Number 6, my favorite place to visit is the bookstore. So this talks about a place. So that would be a noun. Number 7, the dog hid behind the girl. That is a preposition, which we will look at next week. And number 8, Jill quickly swam to shore. Swam is an action. It is a verb. So that is our answer there. Okay. Now you're probably thinking like, Kieran, I need a little bit more practice with that. And that's okay, because I've got you covered. So if you see here, there is an extra activity on the screen. So if you scan the QR code that you see there, it will take you to an extra activity you can do at home to improve your skills with using parts of speech. But if you need any more support, there are some other places that you can visit to get it. So first of all, you can go to our YouTube page for the English support. So if you scan the QR code, it will take you there and you can watch dozens of videos all connected to English support. And if you would like a more one-to-one approach, you can also contact us. So if you see the poster which is on the screen, you'll see I'm on there and my colleague Christine is there too. And if you want to get in touch, you contact us using the email address that you see on the screen. So you can see it is there, English support _ Manchester wh@esl.ac.uk. So you can contact us anytime and we will try to help you out as much as possible. So if you have a presentation coming up in your class and you need a little bit of help, we can support you with that, some strategies to help you to not be nervous, to control your breathing, the language that we use in presentations. We can also help you with your assignment skills, the way to order your assignments, how to structure them, the words and phrases you should be using in them. Okay, we can also help you with more general academic skills like reading and listening, how you can improve your reading and listening in your lectures and in your independent study. And as I mentioned before, we can do it in person on campus. So you can come to room 301 and we can help you out. And also we can do some online sessions. So very similar to this one, a team session, but we can also do one-to-one or group sessions online too. So if you do need any help at all, please do get in touch. So thanks for tuning in today, everyone. And hopefully I'll see you next week for grammar session number 9. Okay. Cheerio.
Yeah.